headlines is ongoing. But there is no question of the important role that the Cowboys would play in the 70s of reinventing the image of Dallas as a comeback city. George Reba, Channel 8 Sports.
Don Meredith got a bad rap in Dallas. He was a very good quarterback who just came along at the wrong time. Don Meredith said what he thought, and what he thought got him in trouble. He liked to drink, he liked to party and stay out late, but no one played harder, showed more courage, and took more abuse than Don Meredith. He was Mickey Mantle in silver and blue. He's in the Ring of Honor, but a lot of Cowboys fans have forgotten Dandy Don, and that's too bad, because I think he and I would have had a good time together. The 70s are next.
Pat Summerall said over the loudspeaker in the Superdome, he says, folks, today is history. We have two most valuable players. We have most valuable players. I'm standing on the field. I want to walk by. Who is that? And he says, Randy White and Harvey Martin. And I just lost it. Oh, my God. The other team would be coming up to the line of scrimmage, and Harvey and I would be yelling at each other over a stunt that he didn't run right or I didn't run right. And the opposing team, I thought, they come up to the line sometimes and look at us, didn't even get down their stance, they're looking at us fighting with each other.
No one knows exactly when the Dallas Cowboys became the New York Yankees of the NFL. But in the 70s, the Cowboys were hotter than disco, and Dallas finally began to shed the image of the city that killed a president. Much of that newfound respect was because of the popularity of a football team. A football team. Here's Tony Martinez.
Shotgun formation. Roger takes the snap. Pumps it once. He's going long. Down the near sideline for Drew Pearson. Pearson makes the catch at the 5. Touchdown! Pearson goes in for the touchdown!
Great play and a lot of luck. Miracle.
By 1975, Tex Schramm's vision of Yankee greatness had come to pass. No team won more games than Dallas in a decade, and the Hail Mary embodied the essence of the Staubach era.
I think it's the biggest play in Cowboy history. When you think of the magnitude of the play and the situation, the playoff situation, being a wild card team, playing in Minnesota.
I closed my eyes and said a Hail Mary, which, I'm a Catholic kid from Cincinnati, Ohio, and said the rosary a few times.
It was like, oh my God, we beat the Vikings. We're going on through the playoffs. I was in shock. I had never felt that good before in my life. Never.
Let's stop them on the third down. Let's give Roger one more chance. And because we did it over and over, and he did it over and over, and get to the point where, we believed it, and so it came true.
When we were at the Pro Bowl, and we were losing. Several players came up and said, hey, man. They looked at Coach and said, hey, you guys always win. We're not worried about a thing. We know we're going to win this game. In the last 2 minutes of a game, the Cowboys never lose.
In Super Bowl VI in Miami, after 6 playoff tries, Dallas finally won its first title.
Well, everybody in professional football, their whole ambition is to become a Super Bowl champ. And we've fought a long time, to reach that goal. And once we reached it, then we knew we were a pretty good football team from then on.
People say, well, you were a past world champion. I don't think you're ever a past champion in anything. I think once you're a champion, you're a champion.
While NFL films coined the title America's Team, perception became reality in the 70s because of an electric assortment of personalities and an unprecedented winning streak that lasted 20 years. The Cowboys became the standard by which every sports franchise was judged.
To me, the uniform has a lot to do with it. The stock, the helmet.
When they come out of the tunnel, no matter where it is, with that star on the helmet, there's an awe, a feeling of awe. There's an admiration and sometimes a resentment, almost like the Yankees in baseball.
I've always described the Cowboys as a franchise of excessive personalities, extreme losses, extreme victories. It's the wildest ride anybody could imagine.
If the Cowboys-Packers title games represented the 60s, the Cowboys-Redskins rivalry defined the 70s. Fueling pro football's civil war, Redskins head coach George Allen.
George Allen came in a kung fu outfit, and to address the team. And before he started to address the team, he hit 2 boards. And basically, he said that I wish these pieces of wood were Tom Landry, and I wish we could just take this me and him out on the 50-yard line. You never know when you're going to be surrounded by Redskins.
One time we were at a charity event in Freeport in the Bahamas, and Joe would walk around with a gold 7 on his neck, a diamond 7 on his neck, and he'd talk about how tough they were and everything, and I'll never forget. He looked at me one day and said, "Hart, my tackle had a pretty good game against you the last time." I said, "You're just such a, I can't say what I said to him." I said, "I'll see you next time." He'd be out there. And I looked at him one day, I said, "Harp," I said, "let's play him for a while before we make a man." I said, "Let's not make a man starting off with."
But the Redskins would be bug eyes. Come on, bug eyes. Bug eyes. Bug eyes. It's time for you to drop one. The Washington Redskins despised the Cowboys, and we felt the same way.
During the 70s, the two teams met 21 times, with the Cowboys winning 12. Perhaps the most unforgettable contest occurred in Roger Staubach's last regular season game in 1979.
Larry Cole's play. Drop Regan behind the line of scrimmage. I think it was like 3rd and 1 or 2. It was probably the most important play of that game.
It was like the whole crowd tackled with him because I never had that kind of spontaneous, cheer from the crowd. I mean, it just was just magic. It was just everybody was tackling with me.
Plus, it was the Redskins, and I still saw the film when Reagan's just run down the sideline to score. Really like they put the game away, and all the Redskin players over there screaming and hollering. If you don't enjoy the game and play with heart, there's no need to be out there. And we played with that kind of heart and love for one another and believe that some great things, that miracles could happen with that guy.
Roger Thomas says, "Hey, if I look your way, I'm coming your way." When we broke the line of scrimmage, he came up man-to-man all by himself. I looked over at Roger. Roger looked at me. I could barely wipe the grin off my face. The ball was perfect.
Despite several more last-minute comebacks in the 70s, plays that had grown men acting like children, Chuck Noll's Pittsburgh Steelers would be known as the team of the decade, largely because of their 2 Super Bowl wins over Dallas.
In the first Super Bowl we played against them, the Steelers beat up our offensive players.
We had occasions out there on the football field where we should have fought.
Snap the Staubach. He barely gets it away.
But Tom kept saying, "Don't fight, don't fight, don't get back in it." And to this day, there are players that were on our football team that will tell you, we should have fought.
That second Super Bowl, the Steelers, the game that was the worst defeat of my career. We'll go on forever and talk about how we should have won that game.
That's the game that haunts me to this very day. Everybody says Jackie Smith dropped a pass, lost the football game.
First of all, the play should not have been called. It was a goal line play. I mean, Coach Landry called it by mistake. The play was sent in, and we don't even have the people in there. And Jackie, to this day, gets the criticism, and it's not right.
I'd like to line them up again today. At our age now, play them again, we'd probably beat them.
They were not a better football team. We're the best football team in the world.
Thomas Henderson, who arrived in Dallas with a so-called Dirty Dozen in 1975, continued the Cowboys' legacy for attracting troubled stars. In the early 70s, it was Dwayne Thomas bucking the system at Super Bowl VI. 7 years later, it was Henderson using cocaine on the sidelines in Super Bowl XIII. To this day, he believes he's the best linebacker to wear a Cowboys uniform.